GMGP, good morning, good people. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all decided to wake up with us. You're sick. You're sick in the head. There's a lot of fantasy football shows out there, but I promise y'all, they not like us. Brock Bowers, you looked a little quicker than fast. What does that even mean? Redraft, dynasty, best ball, high stakes, we got you covered. And that's MVS and Justin Watson with some of the dopest tools designed to help you cancel out the noise and dominate your leagues. If there's a white wide receiver named Antoine, sign me up. Maybe it's cultural. I don't know. In season or off season, rain, sleet, hail, and snow, comma, semicolon, period, next sentence, to bring you the most actionable and entertaining content on YouTube. You don't go buy the dip on the Titanic.
Quarterback that you love, D-Bro. One of the best values in fantasy football.
Prop bets with my man Jay Rich.
Is that yes, let's go!
So wipe the crust out of your eye, get you a cup of coffee. It's time to wake y'all asses up with Ray
and Jay
in the morning.
My God.
How good is
Dude.
he? How good is he? Uh-oh, GMGP, Jay Rich. It is Monday, November 10th, 2025. Y'all good people in the chat decided to wake y'all asses up with me and my brother from another mother, Jordan Richards. You can find him at your boy Jay Rich on X. What a freaking day yesterday. Man, Jay, we had some incredible performances on the week. We gonna talk about it, baby. Jonathan Taylor, we got Jaxson Dart got banged up, but he balled out. Sunday night football game wasn't that good. It was not that good last night. Aaron Rodgers said he's got to play better. Justin Herbert getting banged around. But Jay, the people are in the chat and they are dying to know, did you open up that brand new TreVeyon Henderson jersey? And for the good people out there, I'm gonna get him on the screen. Talk about it, Jay Rich. Talk about it, Jay Rich.
It was a great day, Ray. It was a great day. It's a day I've been waiting multiple weeks for. I've waited 7 weeks, 8 weeks, 9 weeks, and week 10, finally, we are here.
Let's get it, baby. Let's get it.
Here.
It looks two sizes too big for you,
baby.
But let's go, baby. It's looking a little
it's gotta
big.
fit the shoulders, man. It's got to fit the shoulders.
Yeah, you got to hit those shoulder shrugs in the gym.
Medium.
I know you're in the gym, busting ass in there, Jay Rich. You look good. You got to do the shoulder presses. You got to work the traps. Jay Rich is in full Hendo regalia today because he did have his breakout that we have been waiting for since the time he got drafted, man. TreVeyon Henderson, big day. We will talk about it. Jay Rich, how you doing this morning, though, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Got up early, went to the gym, feeling great. You talked about Rodgers. That was a pick we were at opposed ends on. I told you the Steelers offense, no good. You're like, I think you can get it done. That Joe Wall.
I was wrong.
You can't win games without that Joe Wall.
I was wrong.
Right? Well,
I was wrong.
We'll see.
I was wrong.
We'll
the Chargers gutted it out.
See.
It was a gritty victory. 3 field goals from the Chargers. Limited touchdowns from the team. But they got it done. But we are not. And I repeat, Jay Rich, we got a big show. We are not going to start with the Sunday night football game. We will get to that when we get to it. We appreciate everybody being in the building. We got a lot to talk about today. But do not forget that we've got a big special show for you all this Wednesday, Jay Rich, at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What are we doing, Jay?
We are doing our mid-season mayhem.
Let's go.
Live on DDFFB. You can actually go over there now. It's already scheduled, and hit the like button early just for me. But it's going to be a great show. We are going to have Scott Connor, Shane Manila, Ty DeClaire, Brandon, me and you, of course, talking all things fantasy football, all things dynasty, getting you ready for the playoffs, getting you ready for the dynasty offseason, doing mock drafts, dynasty debates. And I'm sure now there will be plenty of rookie running back discussion because we had the TreVeyon Henderson breakout as well. So it'll be a great show, and I'm very excited for it. 3 hours, Ray, of commercial-free dynasty content for the people.
Drop bombs on them, Jay Rich.
Know what I'm saying?
Commercial-free, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Maybe we'll throw the break in there just for fun. Give us a break.
The break will be in there. Maybe twice the break will be in there, but pretty much commercial-free. Pull up this Wednesday. We're going to talk about it. And Jay Rich, I'm recording like a mini pod for tomorrow. Something small, about 15 minutes, a little 15-minute mini pod, mini video. Because after this weekend, I think it's pretty clear. I think it's pretty damn clear, Jay, that Mendoza and Ty Simpson are probably going to be the top 2 quarterbacks in 2026. Probably the only 2 quarterbacks that get picked round 1 if Simpson declares. But I'll talk about that on the pod. So that will drop tomorrow. Stay locked in, stay tapped in. A lot of stuff around the channel. Dynasty takeaways tonight as well with Brandon and Scott Connor on DDFFB. They'll be talking about all things NFL action strictly from a Dynasty fantasy football perspective. They go live today. What time, Jay? Is it 6 Eastern, 7 Eastern?
It's not scheduled yet, but usually it's around between 6 and 7. It depends on when the Sunday night game starts, and then also just has to fit with Scott's schedule as well.
It's before the Monday Night Football game. No, it's right before the Monday Night Football game. So go to DDFFB, check that out. But Jay, now that all of that is out of the way, we've got to start with the biggest day. The biggest day, and I mean, if you read my column over on Yahoo, Jay Rich, I didn't just say he'd be a good running back. I said Jonathan Taylor would be the RB1 this week in Berlin, Germany, and my God, Jay Rich. Dude, he is incredible. You talk about a monster day, 244 rushing yards, 32 carries, 3 touchdowns for Taylor. There's some more Taylor tweets that we will get to about his dominance, but you see right here on the screen, players with 7,000 rushing yards and 70 touchdowns prior to turning 27 years old. You've got the Hall of Famer Emmitt Smith. You've got what some people say is one of the best football players, period, in NFL history in Jim Brown, and maybe the best running back in NFL history when you're talking about what he did behind the line of scrimmage, toting the rock, and in the receiving game. LaDainian Tomlinson now steps in Jonathan Taylor, who it seemed like coming into this season, there's been some talk. Is he really a lead? Is Jonathan Taylor coming in the season? Right? JT wasn't a first-round redraft pick. There were some people that got the double up. Some people got a really good player in round 1 and were able to land Jonathan Taylor in round 2. But talk about his performance in Germany, the first player in the NFL this year, over 1,000 yards in just 10 games. I don't know what the NFL touchdown record is, but I sure as hell feel like he's on pace to set or break or eclipse that. How dominant was Jonathan Taylor?
He was everything for this team, right? He is the most valuable player on the Indianapolis Colts. It's not Daniel Jones. It's not someone on defense. It's Jonathan Taylor. The entire offense runs through him. And I think when you even just look to what happened last week versus Pittsburgh to this week versus the Falcons, the difference was Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor couldn't get anything going against Pittsburgh. They ultimately lost the game in pretty bad fashion against the Steelers. Then you could converse it to this game against the Falcons where they were on the ropes at times. They were down. JT always brought them back and ultimately led them to a victory in overtime. He's the difference for this team. And it's crazy that coming into the season, the conversation was never around, can Jonathan Taylor be a great running back for this Colts team? Because people knew the talent, but they weren't so sure about the offensive line. They lost Will Fries to Minnesota. We wanted to see how this offensive line was revamped. And then obviously the quarterback play, Daniel Jones versus Anthony Richardson. Now Daniel Jones is playing competent quarterback play, and Jonathan Taylor is looking like the best running back in football. Surprise, surprise. But how dominant to you do you think he is relative to like all-time seasons? And do you think he can get to that MVP potential level? Because I think he's 4th right now behind the top 3 quarterbacks in Stafford, Maye, and Mahomes. Yeah,
and we'll talk about some of those guys here in a little bit. I absolutely think he should be in the driver's seat for Offensive Player of the Year. Absolutely. I want to say yes. He's the MVP of the Indianapolis Colts, no doubt about it. He's the MVP of this team. He's the MVP probably of the AFC. Without Jonathan Taylor, I don't care how good Shane Steichen's offense is. I don't care how good and how well Daniel Jones has played. 7 fumbles in the last 2 games. I mean, let's get it together.
How about that franchise quarterback, right?
I mean, he's not launching picks, but 7 fumbles, and some of them, that right tackle was getting beat like a drum. But he's got to have the wherewithal and the presence of mind, like, hey, man, I know my tackles are getting beat to hell. Let me tuck the ball in, right? But it's Jonathan Taylor's the MVP of the game. You see on the screen right here with 3 rushing touchdowns in weeks 3, 5, and 7. And then in week 10, Jonathan Taylor is now the only player in NFL history to record 4 games with at least 3 rushing touchdowns through the first 10 weeks of a season.
Crazy.
You had 4 games of him scoring 3 damn touchdowns, Jay Rich. And in some of those games, I haven't even looked at the games in which he had 3, but one of them you got 244 damn yards.
Yeah,
one of them you got
standard points in PPR. 50 points.
Jay, he's incredible. And he's still younger than 27 years old. Still younger and 27 years old. Is he going to eclipse 2K this year? I don't know. I don't know if he's going to get to 2K, but we'll see how Indy plays it, right?
For it, right?
You said what?
They play in the right division for it. Absolutely.
They play in the right division for it.
Jacksonville games, the Tennessee games will be all right. The Houston games are indoors. Like, they obviously play indoors as well. It's possible. First to 1K. Definitely a good outing for Taylor. Once again, it's just going to depend on how good is this team. Do they need him at the end of the season to where he needs, that last game? But he's been phenomenal this year. He's been so good. And it's crazy because JT, people kind of fade him because he doesn't catch passes, but like, from the moment he stepped on the NFL field, we knew he was one of the best running backs in football and could be one of the best running backs in football. And now he's kind of putting it together, I think, for the first time really since his 2021 season when he really went bananas.
Let's talk about the rest of the Colts players in this game. 7.6 a carry, just insane. Daniel Jones, 19 for 26. That's efficient and fine. 255, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 73% completion percentage. He played well, and he gave you 53 yards on the ground. So if you started Daniel Jones, you feel good about that. Tyler Warren, back on the good side, the good graces of folks. He led the team with 10 targets, 8 catches, 99 yards for the rookie tight end. And our boy, Jay Rich, Antoine Pierce continues to just ball out. 7 targets, 4 catches, 84 yards, and a touchdown. Had that long touchdown reception in the game. Michael Pittman didn't do much, and Josh Downs switched to number 2 and did not do much either. Talk about the ascension of Alec Pierce inside this offense. This is somebody that you have liked for a while, and you're just like, man, if he plays all the time, if you just throw him the ball, good things typically happen. Do you trust Pierce moving forward? Because he's been balling, dude.
I think at some point we're able to say, like, yeah, Alec Pierce is definitely flex-worthy, right? Especially in this Colts offense that's scoring, I think top 3 in the NFL in terms of points per game. They were only behind the Detroit Lions, I believe, coming into this game, and they may even actually be ahead of the Lions still after their performance against the Washington Commanders. But yeah, Pierce has been great. He gets the deep balls. I believe he goes over his longest reception every single week of the season. There's always opportunities for him down the field. I mean, you look to the players on the team. You got Warren, you got Pittman, you got Downs. They're all intermediate to short area players. Pierce is the one guy outside of Adonai Mitchell before he was traded that could get down the field, and that's how they utilized him, and that's how Steichen has always utilized him from his time as the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. And so it's cool to see him finally turn a role that was previously just clearing out constantly for whoever the quarterback was. Now they have a quarterback that can actually take advantage of his ability to get down the field, and he's making big plays. Good to see him get in the end zone. I believe he's now, at 500 plus yards on the season, and he's almost at 600 yards, and he just got his first touchdown. Got his first touchdown.
He got his first touchdown. He needs to, and that was the thing you talked about, right? Just he doesn't score a lot of touchdowns, so it's kind of tough to trust it week in and week out. But good for Alec Pierce, good for this offense. They're 8-2 on the season. This was a game they really didn't need to drive, and it was a tight one. It went to overtime. Jay Rich in this matchup. But what were your thoughts on the Colts in general? They had lost DeForest Buckner, I believe, put on IR prior to the game. Big loss for their defensive line. Sauce Gardner was out there. Drake London, did you see the route? I mean, they said he's no longer called Sauce after that. His name is Ahmad Gardner after that one. Drake London got with him on that play, Jay. But what are your thoughts on Indianapolis?
They're fine, right? They're kind of playing, I think, to the level that we should expect from Indianapolis. Now, you're not going to expect Jonathan Taylor to go for 250 every single week, but they were efficient. Warren was great in moving the sticks and just kind of being efficient on second, third downs, opening things up for Daniel Jones, being a weapon down the field. But yeah, this is kind of what I expect from Jones. More of a game manager than a game winner. Okay. But it's going to work for this team, right? And for fantasy purposes, he's been fine. He took a lot of sacks. He is fumbling. And I'm curious to see if those woes kind of clean up over the next couple of games, because I think they have the Chiefs next. Yeah, so Chiefs, Texans, Jaguars, Seahawks, 49ers, Jaguars, Texans. So it's not a great schedule. Now, the Jaguars games, they're kind of fine. Texans will be tough. Seahawks will be tough. KC is going to be tough, especially on the road. So we'll see how Dimes plays. But definitely right now, they're in the driver's seat for the AFC. I believe they're still the number 1 seed in the AFC, but they are tied with the Patriots. So we'll see how they look. But massive test this week against Kansas City. Or actually, it's going to be after the bye. So they have a bye week going into this week, and then they have the KC game after that. So Steichen's got 2 weeks to prepare. So he better be ready for KC, even though it is on the road at Kansas City. Yeah,
no doubt. They get on perfect timing, too, because didn't you say most of the times when teams play overseas, they get the bye the following week?
They have the option. So when teams play overseas, they have the option to take the bye the following week, and obviously they did exercise that, so they will be off this coming weekend, and then we'll play the Chiefs in Kansas City after that.
Jay, Jonathan Taylor, credible game. I mean, the most half PPR points. Jonathan Taylor's 48 and at 48.1 fantasy points yesterday. Yeah, let me pull this up on the screen for the people so they can see this. His 48.1 fantasy points are the most scored in a single game by a running back in over 2 years. The last running back to achieve something that high was Miami Dolphins running back Achane in 2023 during week 3 of the season. And Taylor wasn't the only running back who had a big game, because Miami Dolphins running back Achane versus the Buffalo Bills, 22 carries, 174 yards, 6 catches, 51 yards, 225 scrimmage yards, and 2 touchdowns. 3 bomb drops for Achane.
Ridiculous.
3 bomb drops for Achane. And you know what the Buffalo Bills are about to get, Jay Rich? You know what they're about to get?
What?
Shame. Shame on Buffalo.
Shame.
Jay Rich?
Shame
the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to do it again. I am so disappointed.
Shame.
This is your MVP.
Shame.
You told me this was the NFL MVP.
That's okay.
Case closed.
Okay.
Etch his
I don't know if I said it
name
like that,
back in stone. Go ahead and put it back up there. Josh Allen, MVP. Super Bowl champs and MVPs don't lose to 2-7 teams that are falling apart. I don't care that it was on the road. And I asked you, Jay. I said, is there any chance Miami sneaks a win here? You laughed me off of the screen.
I don't think I did.
Not a chance, Ray.
I don't think I
Not
did.
a chance, Ray, that they could lose in Miami. They're double-digit favorites. Double-digit favorites. Talk about Achane first, and then we're going to get to Josh Allen.
I mean, Achane was great. He closed out the game in dramatic fashion, right? With those 2 big runs. He looked great offensively, especially through the air. He was phenomenal. But I think the big thing for me when you talk about like Allen and this whole situation is like Buffalo's just not a very good football team. Like they're just not. And I think you look to even the Thursday night game when they played in Buffalo, Miami was able to move the ball on them. They just weren't able to come away with the victory. Buffalo sneaked that one out. Then they go and play in Miami. You know, you talked about how I said that I didn't think they had a chance. Now I don't know if that's quite true, because if we were playing the spreads, I probably would have taken Miami just because Buffalo hasn't been playing.
Maybe I'm misremembering.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Maybe I'm misremembering.
You know me. I love Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen's a phenomenal quarterback. But this team is a very flawed team. And it's tough because, you know, we do the picks every single week, right?
Yep.
And last week, we picked Kansas City because Kansas City looked like the far superior team to Buffalo, especially after how they played recently. They came off the big win in Carolina, but we're not really putting much stock into that. Then you come in and you lay an egg on the road in Miami. This is just a season where you have teams that can play very good one week and can be very flawed and struggle the following week. I think the bigger question here for me is, are you starting to believe a little bit in Miami? Not in the sense that they are competitors, not in the sense that, you know, we should be buying into them being a winning team going forward, but for fantasy purposes, they're kind of getting it done when we least expect it, especially in a matchup against Buffalo.
Am I buying the Miami Dolphins? No. The short answer is no. But did you hear what the players said after the game? They were like, I know everybody's saying that we quit, we don't give a damn, we're ready for Cancun, we want to be on vacation. I listened to Achane talk in the post-game presser. I listened to the head coach, Mike McDaniel, talking. They said they were salty. They were feeling some type of way that everyone pretty much said, you know, they should have sold off all their assets at the deadline. The team isn't going nowhere. Tua started off rocky in this one. He started off a little rocky in this one.
Launched that pick early.
At this point, it's like you know it's coming, right? Doesn't it feel? Remember when Mac Jones back in New England, you just knew he was going to launch a pick. Every time he winds that left arm back, there's an interception is a 50-50 coin flip probability with Tua, but he weathered the storm and he did play better down the stretch. Like there was some. You even texted in our group chat. You were like, "Hey man, Tua out here looks all right. Like Tua's playing okay."
People give Tua a lot of flack for his poor play, and it's justified.
They do,
but
justifiably so.
Tua is still a good quarterback when it's his day, and not a good quarterback in the sense that, like, you know, Bryce Young can have a good day and throw for 150 yards and complete 75% of his passes. Like, Tua's capable of a performance where he can throw up 3-4 touchdowns in a game, can throw for 250, 300 yards. He's going to throw picks because that's just the way he's playing right now, unfortunately. But I like the fact that Mike McDaniel is not forcing Tua to be conservative, and Tua is not being conservative. He has the ability to throw the ball down the field. Whether it's going to be picked off or not is going to be determined on how open the players are and whether or not he's throwing into double or triple coverage. But we saw it. The first time he threw it to Waddle, it got picked off. But the second time he threw it to Waddle, boom, massive touchdown, game flipper, and ultimately helped them lead to a victory. So for me, Tua is just one of those players that people are never going to like. But if you have him or if he's attainable for a reasonable price, I don't hate buying him because you can play the matchups with Tua. You can. Like, I think that's the thing. He's more of a matchup-dependent player, but you can play him in those good matchups, and he's probably going to be more than fine. More so than a player like Trevor Lawrence that plays bad regardless.
We're not there. I'm waiting until I see Keegan's ass in the chat. We will not talk about Jacksonville. If Keegan is in the chat, we'll talk Jacksonville next. If he ain't, we're going to delay until he gets his ass up in here. Ike says RIP to the Josh Allen MVP talk. Do you think that's true?
No. I don't.
You still think he's in it?
Josh Allen is still, when you watch Buffalo, it's still clear how valuable Josh Allen is to the team. Because the team is so bad, right?
Alex says right here, here's a comment from the chat. Josh Allen, not the most important player on the Bills, it's James Cook. Do you believe that?
Look, man. Alex, I love you, bro. I appreciate you being in the chat.
Yeah.
But that is simply not true.
Yeah,
I agree. Just hear me out, right?
I agree, Jay.
You got the Bucs coming into town next week. He beats Baker down, he's back in it. Then he's got Houston, the Steelers, the Bengals. The biggest game, and what's crazy is, so my parents got me tickets to this game. So I will be in Foxborough on the 14th of December to watch Josh Allen play off against Drake Maye.
Flex on.
And that's the game that I think could push Josh Allen back into MVP talks. If he goes into Foxborough in December and beats the Patriots after, rattling off a few victories now, depending on how they play. But if they can win, let's say 3 of 4 going into that game, and then they beat the Patriots on the road, I think that could vault him back into that MVP conversation. Because at that point, they'd be in striking distance. And then they also close out with an Eagles game at home as well, week 17. So that could be another statement win for Josh Allen at home to get a big victory and ultimately push for MVP. But it'll depend on how Mahomes plays.
Jeff already said
on how
it.
Maye plays as well.
Jeff said, can't wait for Bills-Pats game at Gillette. I feel like it will get flexed from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m.
It probably will, yeah. It probably will get flexed.
Probably will. A couple of more questions. Jorge, shout out to our dog Jorge. Is Buffalo's window already closed, Jay Rich?
I'm not going to say it's closed, but if we're just
I don't think
honest,
this is the team to do it. This doesn't feel.
Yeah.
I'm not a Bills historian. I don't cover the team. I don't know all their salary stuff, and it doesn't feel like the same Bills teams of the past. It feels like there were some teams prior to this that were much stronger than this one.
Yeah. They're not dominant. But the thing is, and the interesting thing about this too, right, is the AFC is a shit show right now, right? Like, Ray, if you told me 3 weeks ago that Baltimore could be the best team in the AFC, I would say you were absolutely crazy.
So would I.
But they 100% could be. They could beat the Chiefs. Yeah. They could beat the Bills. They could easily beat the Patriots. Yep. Patriots hasn't beat anybody, right? So it's like we don't know who the best teams are in the AFC. And I think today, right, closing out Week 10, we're wondering if we're going to see a team emerge as a dominant AFC powerhouse for this season, right? Like, we know it's probably not the Colts. We know it's probably not the Patriots. We're waiting to see what the Chiefs do, what the Bills do, what the Ravens do in particular. But there's still a lot to figure out with all of these teams. And it's just going to come down to is who's the hottest team when it comes to wild card weekend, divisional round, and beyond, right? Like, I think you're not really going to know who the best team is until that moment comes about come playoff time. Because right now, it's just a week-to-week game as to who the better team is and who's playing well.
If you guys have not seen the runs by Devon Achane, yeah, I'm watching them. I'm like, this is the most dangerous weapon in football. Jonathan Taylor's the best running back. He's the best running back. He can do things that no other running back currently in the NFL can do. Yeah. I'm just watching Achane, the explosiveness, the juice. This dude is not a big running back, Jay. I've seen him in person multiple. He's not a big guy. He's put together well. You could tell he worked, but he's not a big running back, right? You probably look at him and Jonathan Taylor standing side by side, and you'd be like, one of these guys is a high schooler next to this he
man.
Is he the closest thing we've seen to, and I, not from a career production standpoint, because these were better players. They played longer. They've done things that Achane hasn't done. But can he be this generation's sort of version of what Jamal Charles, CJ2K was? I'm looking at those two. The one where he stumbled and still took it up to, like, I wish I could show it, but the stream would get kicked out. It was in, how good is he? Like, where would you put him as far as NFL running backs right now? I think we probably, because when we did this last week, I don't know if Achane was in that top 5. When we did this last week, I don't believe he was in there. It was Christian McCaffrey, it was Bijan Robinson, it was Jahmyr Gibbs, Jonathan Taylor, and I can't think of who
Cook
the fit,
is the one
James Cook. Where's Achane slot in?
I think the problem for me with Achane is that I don't know if it's the way he's utilized. Like, for instance, Christian McCaffrey, right? He's so heavily utilized within his offense, and he's even still at his age, he's so inefficient. It's like, well, how good is Christian McCaffrey really? And, you know, I obviously love Christian McCaffrey. I think he's one of the best running backs of all time. But Achane, right, in that conversation as to, like, how good is he reminds me a bit more of, I think, of CJ2K a little bit.
Okay.
Because Jamal Charles was a little bit different the way he plays. I think he was a little bit bigger as well. CJ was very, very slender, and he was just so fast, right? But he could still break tackles. He's still a great runner of the football. Achane's a little bit better as a receiver, but both were phenomenal that once they got in space, like, they were just gone. I think Charles was a bit more of a complete running back overall, but Achane could definitely be in that top 5. Like, he can do everything you need a running back to do. The question is he a good enough runner of the football, relative to kind of some of the other guys who are at the top, right? Like, I'd probably say at this stage, he's definitely better than Christian McCaffrey. I don't know if he's better than James Cook. He's probably not better than Taylor, right? But he's definitely worthy of that conversation. And I think the thing for him that's great is the scheme that he plays in is perfect for his skill set, right? And that's where you're seeing a maximized version of Devon Achane, but he's definitely worthy of being in that conversation because of his ability as both a rusher and a receiver. He's basically doing what you expect Bijan Robinson to do every week, but except Bijan's
who would you
not
rather
doing
have?
It, right?
Who would you rather have, Achane or Bijan Robinson?
As my team's running back?
Yeah, that's what they play.
So I would rather have Bijan Robinson, but I think that in terms of, like, in the NFL and on the respective teams, Devon Achane's in a better situation. Right, because I just don't like Zach Robinson. I just don't think Zach Robinson does a very good job.
I don't know if you can say he's in a better situation. I don't know if I agree to that.
Why?
Now Miami's a better situation than Atlanta.
No, what I'm saying is that I think that what Mike McDaniel does with Devon Achane and the way he's utilized in the offense is better for his skills. That's what I'm saying. I think he's just, in terms of the way they call plays and utilize them, like, that's how I think Achane's in where I was talking about him being maximized within the offense, and the way they run the offense to fit his skill set, I think is very good for him. I wouldn't say it's quite the same level for Bijan because he kind of gets touches reluctantly at times, and Algier's obviously heavily involved.
I'll just say this, Kev. Kev's saying, hypothetically, if Dolphins fire McDaniels, I think it's McDaniel, what's that mean for Achane?
We're going to have to wait to
All
find
I
out.
saw from Miami Dolphin beat reporters and fans say build the entire plane around him. I don't give a shit about quarterback. Doesn't matter what else we do. Build around Achane. I think he's a special talent. You don't see players with that type of juice and speed at his, like, you just think about, to be that small and to be able to be used like that at the highest level of football competition, it truly is beyond comprehension to me. Like, he's like a
better version of Gibbs because he gets all the work.
See, I think your framing of things today is just, you're leaving yourself open to get punched. Like, I'm not even going to say he's a better version of Jahmyr Gibbs, because Jahmyr Gibbs is incredible, and we're going to talk about him next.
But I'm just saying, like, the way he's utilized in the offense.
I think you need to I'm just telling you, for your own good, think about that stuff. But I don't know if you want to say he's a better version of Jahmyr Gibbs, because Jahmyr Gibbs was another running back who set NFL records yesterday, who balled out. Jonathan Taylor was the top dog. He was the king. Devon Achane was next. But make no mistake about it, Jahmyr Gibbs' day as well puts him in a category, in a stratosphere with some of the all-time great NFL players, not just running backs. Here are the list of players in NFL history to have 40-plus scrimmage touchdowns before turning the age of 24, which Jahmyr Gibbs doesn't turn 24 until when, Jay Rich? March of 2026.
I don't know.
March of next year. March of next year. 40-plus touchdowns before turning 24 years old. Gibbs has 41. Jim Brown had 42. Emmitt Smith had 43. Randy Moss had 43. And the greatest running back in NFL history, Barry Sanders, had 47. Is week 10. Jahmyr Gibbs should be number one in NFL history in scrimmage touchdowns before the age of 24. Yeah. I mean, he's got a chance. He's got it.
Well,
he put up 3 this week.
You're asking him to get what, 8 more?
I don't care if he gets 0 more. The fact that he's on this screen with this company lets me know how talented he is. And Jay, there was somebody on this screen in 2023 who had Jahmyr Gibbs as the RB1 in that class. You can roll your eyes all you want. You can roll your eyes all you want with that big midsection number 32 jersey on. You can roll your eyes all you want.
You always throw it back all you want. Previous takes.
RB1. I saw the talent. I saw the skill set. And now he's seeing rooms and banners with Hall of Famers. Jay Rich, talk about Jahmyr Gibbs, Jameson Williams, the Detroit Lions, and what they did to the Washington Commanders on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, they took care of business, right? We talked about how the Detroit Lions were not going to lose this game, how the Commanders are a god-awful team offensively and defensively, and they looked like it, right? This entire 4 p.m. slate was a shit show because every single team got blown out. But Jahmyr Gibbs was phenomenal, right? He only had 15 carries. He averaged almost 10 a carry, 2 touchdowns on the ground, and then, of course, 1 through the air as well. The biggest story from this game was the fact that Dan Campbell was calling plays in this game. He took play calling away from the OC. He was calling plays, and what do you know? Jameson Williams, near a top 10 or a top, I think, almost 5 wide receiver on the week and got going in this game. Jahmyr Gibbs was great. Jared Goff was efficient, still threw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. They beat down the Commanders. Not a whole lot to say. They got right in a spot where they needed to, and I think this sets them up for another big game next week as well.
Yeah, J-Mo got busy. Jay Rich, the coaching staff. So I don't know where I was at whenever it was announced that Dan Campbell was going to call the plays offensively.
It was during the game. Tom Pelissero noticed him with a call sheet, and he tweeted out how he's like, I think Dan Campbell's calling plays. And then after the game, the reporters asked him at the press conference, and he confirmed that he was.
I was like, I didn't hear about that all week long because we were talking about Johnny Morton or John Morton. Yeah, listen, this is so Dan Campbell gave David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs 15 carries apiece. Jahmyr Gibbs literally had double the yards on the dot. Monty had 71. If you go times 2, Jay Rich, I believe 71 times 2 is 142. Is my mathing today?
You're right.
You're right. Let's go. Anytime the maths, that's a good day. Jameson Williams led the way with 119 yards. He was second on the team in targets behind Amon-Ra St. Brown. Downfield usage. He was running after the catch. He also dropped one off his hands. Come on, J-Mo. But that happens, Jay. They all drop passes, right?
Well, J-Mo's been dropping passes a little
more
than
we'd like. J-Mo got extended. J-Mo's good. J-Mo's good. My question to you, are you confident now or more confident in his role inside this offense moving forward? Because it really did sound like, hey, we need to open shit up. We need to get him involved a little bit more. We're balling on the ground. Gibbs is doing his thing on the ground. We've got to open this offense up more. A lot of people were down on J-Mo coming into the week, man. What do you think this signals for him moving forward?
I think it's a reason to be optimistic, right? I mean, you look to last week, he had 6 targets, and this week he had 7. It was a breakout game, scored a touchdown in both games. But am I optimistic in the way that we should be going forward? Like, they played Minnesota and looked pretty good. Washington, again, not the greatest matchup. But next week they have to go to Philly, right? So they have Philly on Sunday Night Football, Week 11. Going to be a tough game. Going to be a hard-fought game. We're going to see how Goff plays in the cold and outdoors. We know that's kind of been his kryptonite at times. And J-Mo being a downfield threat, it'll be interesting to see how they utilize him. But I think we should be encouraged, right? Out of the bye, we've seen back-to-back 16-plus points per game for Jameson Williams in both performances, 16.6 in PPR, and then 23.9 this past week. And I believe he's still a top, 3 wide receiver on the week because it's kind of a down week for wide receivers, a lot of big games from running backs. But we should be encouraged, right? Dan Campbell is now calling plays. I think that's good. And it's kind of crazy. People were talking about this, right? They were the second team in the NFL in points per game, and they decided to take play calling away from their OC and ultimately give it to the head coach. But Dan Campbell knows what he's doing, right? This is his thing. This is his operation, and he wants to see the offense play better. He wants to see J-Mo get more involved, and he absolutely was successful in doing that this past week. And I think it only will continue, but we'll see how they ultimately play against Philly, the Giants, Green Bay, Dallas, the Rams. So a couple tough matchups in there. So we're going to see how good this Detroit team's ultimately playing.
Here's another crazy stat for Gibbs. He joins Barry Sanders as the only players in franchise history for the Lions to record 8+ touchdowns in each of the first 3 seasons for this young running back. I mean,
nice.
He's awesome. Like the running back talent that we have in the NFL right now is really fun to watch. These guys they're exciting, right? They're not just big, bruising, physical, run you over. I mean, they're big play, electricity, lightning bolts waiting to happen every single time they touch the ball. Like Gibbs just moves at a different speed. That touchdown run where he hit the second, like there was no hope for the defensive back. Like this is fun to watch these running backs ball out to this degree. And we didn't talk about. Let's stay on the running backs and we'll wrap it up right here because these RB performances were great. We got another one, a rookie that we'll talk about in a second. What are your thoughts about Bijan Robinson? And it seems like he had that 170-yard game where it looked like they finally figured it out. They've unlocked it. We're going to give him the ball, let him be one of the most explosive, dynamic backs in the league. Yet every single week is like, there's a lot of Tyler Algier. What are your thoughts here, man?
I mean, this is the problem, right, with this team and I think this is the big issue with Bijan is if you just tell me that a running back's going to get 17 carries for 84 yards, like, why are we so pissed off about that? Like, why are we so mad that Bijan had 17 carries for 84 yards? That's still nearly 5 a carry. Now, he only caught 2 passes, which is a little bit of an aberration for Bijan because going into the game, 6, 3, 8, and then ultimately 2 in this game against the Colts. But they keyed in on him, right? When he was in the game, they made sure to know where he was and covered him and made sure he didn't break the game away from them because they knew it was basically one player that could ruin them. It was Drake London, and he was covered by Sauce, and then it was Bijan Robinson, and the linebacking core was all over him. But yeah, I mean, this is just what you're going to get when they want to utilize 2 running backs. And I think to Algier's credit, like, he's not so bad that you can't play him. But it is annoying if you have Bijan because you're seeing all these other running backs go off. And let's not forget to mention that this Atlanta offensive line is very banged up, right? Like, from the moment the season started, they were down multiple offensive linemen. They've been rotating guys like crazy. And it doesn't help that Michael Penix isn't playing well either, right? He doesn't throw the ball to Drake London. It's not opening things up for the rushing attack. And so you have the combination of Algier scoring touchdowns that maybe could go to Bijan and Penix not playing overly well to kind of force back the offense a little bit and open up some running lanes for this offensive line that isn't that good. I think that's a big problem. But they played the Colts. The Colts have a great defense,
they do.
Right?
They do.
Like you're talking about, they're coming off of Indy, and then they were also just at New England, who has been playing as one of the best run defenses in the NFL. So it's not that I expect much more from Bijan, but definitely Algier is a little bit annoying.
Yeah, D-Bro's in the chat. Shout out to D-Bro. He said, because Algier is the Charbonnet in this offense. I think that's high praise for Kenneth Walker. I wouldn't go that far. Maybe Algier's the Kenneth Walker of this offense because Charbonnet looked pretty damn good. I mean, him and Walker both had the same amount of rush attempts, I believe. Yeah, it's just kind of frustrating. I mean, 84 yards is great, but when you see the backup running back, and he ain't a 1B, I don't think. It's the backup running back with 2 touchdowns. It's pretty frustrating to see that. And
it's annoying.
Doesn't seem like it's going anywhere anytime soon because that's just been the game plan for Atlanta the entire time. Jay Rich, it's been the game plan twice, for Atlanta.
Right? So 17 to 11 for the carries, but both over 5 a carry, or Algier was actually over 5 a carry, but did score the 2 touchdowns. And that was the difference.
That was the difference. All right, Jay Rich, do you want to get to your boy now or you want to do it after the break? We'll do it after the break. We'll save it.
Yeah.
We'll save it for after the break. Let's talk about a team and a player that we both talked about on this show. We talked about it on Bleacher Report. We called the upset at home. And I want to talk about at what point are people going to stop with the excuses? And this is why. Going into this week, Jay, was I really feeling Jakobi Meyers? I was like, I'm not.
No.
I didn't like the we were on with Kurt Benker. Y'all all gave it an A+ grade. This is a great trade. This is an A+. Jakobi Meyers is going to walk in and be the wide receiver one for Jacksonville. This is a great move for them. Maybe. But the biggest problem with this Jags team, where's Keegan, is real interesting he didn't show up today. It's real interesting he didn't show up today because, my God, I didn't think I would do it twice, Jay Rich. I didn't think I would do it twice.
Shame.
Shame on him, Jay Rich.
Shame.
Shame on this Jacksonville Jaguars team. 26-0. They were outscored in the fourth quarter to long neck Davis Mills, who not only got the dub, if you started him, the best damn fantasy quarterback. I mean, he's top fantasy quarterback on the week, and you have consistently talked about this, Jay. I will give you your credit, son. I'll give you your credit. Teams that have competent backup quarterbacks, like that prioritize having a good backup quarterback in the event your starter goes out, you got somebody that can come in and run the offense. Houston is still in it. There's a long uphill battle for them, especially given that the Colts are now 8-2. They're not winning the division, so they've got to be a wild card team, but they're still in it because they had a backup quarterback that can come in and beat the golden one, the number one overall pick, Mr. 275 M's, Jay Rich. He can't get the ball to nobody.
Nope.
Sacked left and right, 158 yards. At what point are we going to stop making the excuses for Trevor Lawrence? At what point is he going to be held accountable? At what point are we going to stop with the hopium that he could somehow turn into what he thought everybody thought he could be coming out of high school 10 damn years ago? At what point does it stop? This dude is not good. He's not good, Jay. He's not good. He has been mid since coming into the NFL.
Mid is probably putting it a little bit light, to be honest, because he's been pretty bad. Like, the fact that they lost this game when they were up 29-10 is ridiculous. But this is the thing with the NFL, right? And why it just makes me laugh. Teams do this all the time. You go up big, you're playing a backup quarterback, and what do? You just mosey about, try to run out the clock and win the game. And what happens? You mess around and you find out, and Davis Mills comes back and beats you. And for anyone who didn't watch this game, the Jaguars got so lucky early in the game. Davis Mills threw a pick on like the first play of the game, and it was brought back to like the 20-yard line, or maybe even a pick six on the first or second play of the game. Then they kick the ball off, and Houston fumbles the kickoff at like the 15-yard line, and they only get a field goal out of it on the other side. So they're spotted like 10 points to start the game, and they still weren't able to win. Like, Trevor Lawrence is playing so poorly, and I think the crazy part about this, Ray, is this is not, to some respect, maybe if you take out the Baltimore game because they were playing so bad, is this not the best the Houston Texans offense has looked all season under Davis Mills, potentially? Now, CJ Stroud was out. He will be back, but it was a great performance from the offense in a game where they needed it because the defense did allow quite a few points, but the offense bailed them out. You talked about the playoffs, Ray. They are at 4-5. So is Kansas City. Kansas City's 5-4. Jacksonville in the playoffs right now at 5-4. Pittsburgh also in the playoffs right now at 5-4. So Houston can definitely take over one of those two playoff spots from either Jacksonville or Pittsburgh. We expect Kansas City to also take one of those spots, but it's getting dicey right now for the Jaguars. They may fall out of the playoffs, and the way they're playing right now, Ray, I would not be shocked at all. They're playing terrible football. They should have lost to the Raiders, or almost lost to the Raiders. They messed around in Houston and lost the game, even though they were up huge. And this defense is playing worse and worse, and Trevor Lawrence simply cannot get things on track.
Did you see Liam Cohen?
This was hilarious. I mean, he threw a pick six on the last play of the game and got sacked by Will Anderson. It was a terrible play. Terrible play. Terrible.
He's the quarterback. A lot of people kind of joked, right? When Mac Jones was there, people were like, man, the offense just looks so much better with Mac Jones. Brian Thomas Jr. looks better than Like, what is the issue here? What is the issue here? Is it? And he just seems so laissez-faire, whatever. 275 M's, Jay Rich. 275.
This is the problem with the NFL, right? Like, everyone loves Liam Cohen's offense, and we even go back to when Dave Canales was there. Everyone loves Dave Canales' offense when he's in Tampa Bay. When he's got Baker Mayfield, you lose Baker Mayfield, and you're like, holy shit, Baker was pretty good, right? Because you take the same offense or the same philosophies, and you throw Bryce Young in there, and it looks god awful. You throw Trevor Lawrence in there, it looks terrible. And it's like, well, maybe you need a good quarterback to run a good offense, right? All the good offense in the NFL, at least most of them, give credit to Daniel Jones, have good quarterbacks who are playing good football. Sam Darnold, good quarterback playing good football in a great offense. Not the same case in Jacksonville. Regardless of what you think of the offense.
Darnold was a little stinky yesterday.
He was not that good.
He was a little, let's be, completed 10 passes. Now, he only threw the ball 12 times, but he was a little stinky too.
But he's looking good in the offense. They're playing very good football.
Overall, yes.
He did have a shit game yesterday.
Yes. Overall, yes. Parker Washington scored. He led the team in targets. I think that's the one in the offense. Myers should get going a little bit more if
he did have that touchdown called back, though.
He did.
It was very close, but it was called back.
It was called back, though. We're not going to if ands and buts were candy and nuts. You know what it would be, Jay Rich. So we'll see what they do. ETN he ran hard,
The rushing attack in Jacksonville is non-existent now. It sucks, man.
He's trying. He's doing his
best.
He's trying. On the other side, though, Nico Collins, here's what I appreciate about Davis Mills. You know what Davis Mills did? He understood the assignment, Jay Rich. He understood the assignment was throw the ball to Nico Collins and keep throwing it to him. Then get it to your other veteran. Dalton Schultz had a big game. Jaden Higgins got in the end zone. But Davis Mills understood the assignment and he executed the game plan. You cannot knock Davis Mills for going out there and what did he do? 27 for 45, 292, 3 touchdowns. And it looked like it was going to be rocky with that pick. But Davis Mills got it together and he did his job. He came in, he understood the assignment, and he did his job as a backup quarterback, helping Houston get the win. We did see sort of a transition offensively in the backfield. Woody Marks, first time he led the team in rushing attempts. It was the Woody Marks show in this one. Now, some of this could be a byproduct of them trying to get back into it and playing a little faster.
Probably a little bit, yeah.
They need to. Woody scored as well. Jay, listen, man. Did I not try to tell the people a long time ago that Woody Marks, Jay Rich, this dude can play? I don't know if I don't know if you want to bell cow him, right? I don't know if you want to do that.
Definitely don't want to do that.
But he needs to be the mainstay in the backfield. He needs to be a part of this offense, both on the can his long-term outlook, can he be a better version of Jaylen Warren? Can he be that guy in the NFL?
Yeah,
can
he's
can
more
he be
explosive than Jaylen Warren for sure?
Yeah, can he be that to where if you need him to tote the rock as the one, he can get it done, but maybe better in a nice backfield tandem with somebody else to where he could be the pass catching guy, your 4-minute offense kind of running back, carry some ball. There needs to be somebody else there. There needs to be somebody else there, but I'm impressed with what we've seen from Woody Marks. All right, Jay, we had to build up the anticipation, and we'll wait a little bit longer because we're going to talk about your boy who finally got it done. All it took was 5 running back injuries ahead of him.
Damn right it did.
Nobody left. Terrell Jennings hurt. Ramondre out. Antonio Gibson, knee is blown apart. Sony Michel didn't get any carries, right?
Nope.
Rex Burkhead didn't touch the ball.
No,
LeGarrette Blount didn't get carries. Finally, after all those running backs went out, TreVeyon Henderson had a day, but we will talk about it after y'all hit that thumbs up button. Like the stream and subscribe to the channel if you are new. This is Wake Up with Ray and Jay every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Let's hit the break. We'll be back. Welcome back to the show. This is Wake Up with Ray and Jay every Monday, every Wednesday, and every Friday right here on the channel. We have a good time every time talking all things NFL, NFL draft, fantasy football, life, who knows, maybe some MLB talk. Jay Rich, there was some good soccer stuff happening this weekend. I saw that over the timeline.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
you see that goal in Ottawa, bro?
I did see the goal. I did see
buddy.
the goal. I did see the goal. That's why I brought it up, man. I saw it. I want to give you a shout out this morning. Make sure y'all pull up. We got a mega stream on Wednesday. This Wednesday, Jay Rich, Shane Manila, Scott Connor, and I, our midseason mayhem show. 3 hours of streaming content, fantasy football, dynasty, startup drafts, rookie talk, Trinity, would you rathers, trades, giveaways. We're gonna have a really good time on Wednesday, so pull up 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are going to have some fun talking all things NFL and fantasy football. But Jay Rich, I see the people in the chat say Ben Jarvis Green Ellis was the emergency running back. Vrabel was close to putting him in. He was forced to give the ball to TreVeyon Henderson this week. Terrell Jennings got injured early. And Jay, you know what happened when they gave that explosive guy out of Ohio State the ball? You know what happened? He's in a graphic with Randy Moss. Jay Rich, he ends up in a graphic with Randy Moss when you give him the ball. When you give him the ball, good things happen. There have only been 2 instances of a team having 3 50-yard scrimmage touchdowns by rookies in a single game over the last 50 years. 2025 New England Patriots did it this past Sunday. TreVeyon Henderson had 2 of them. Kyle Williams had 1 of them. And he was rolling on that 70-plus yard touchdown. The only other guy that did it, and he did it by himself, was Randy Moss back in 1998 against you know who? You know who he did it against, Jay?
I don't know who that game was against, no.
It was against my damn Dallas Cowboys. It was against had 3 catches, 163 yards, and 3 touchdowns against my Cowboys. Right? Yep, against my he had to make him pay. Jay Rich. TreVeyon Henderson balled out, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, 27.5 fantasy points. And then here's one right here, Jay Rich. We're talking about the great running backs in Week 10. The great running backs in Week 10. Week 10 running back leaders in EPA per attempt. Number 1 was Jahmyr Gibbs, balled out. Number 3 was Devon Achane. Number 5 was Jonathan Taylor. You know who number 2 was? Right behind Jahmyr Gibbs?
Looks like TreVeyon Henderson.
TreVeyon Henderson. Big Hendo. Jay Rich, talk about it.
It was a great game, right? It's funny that it took this level of players to get injured. And even still, for anyone who didn't watch the game, TreVeyon Henderson, the first opportunity at the goal line, stuffed twice. Although, I don't know if you saw it, Ray, Will Campbell got held on that play to the left. And so the defensive end held Will Campbell so he couldn't get to the linebacker. So, refs missed a call there. But he did get stuffed twice on the goal line. And the next time they got to the goal line, they brought in Dearness Johnson for the first game.
I know you were nervous watching it. You were sick watching that happen. That series, you were sick.
I've watched it all season. So was I surprised? Absolutely not. Short yardage early in the game, it was Terrell Jennings over TreVeyon Henderson. But he broke that big touchdown at the start of the second half, and then ultimately the touchdown that closed out the game. He looked to the coaching staff. They said, get in the end zone,
Get in the end zone.
And they won the game because of it. Massive game from Henderson, right? Massive game. And I don't know if you saw the clip from Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs was talking about how he was getting on Henderson at halftime because he hadn't really done a whole lot of anything. And then what do you know? A minute into the second half, he breaks a 50-yard touchdown, and they're like, boom, he's gone. So I'm not going to say that he's going to be the primary rusher going forward. Must start every single week. We are going to see.
Why not? Why not go that far? Why not? Why not go that far?
On Thursday Night Football. But people have to remember, they play the Jets on Thursday Night Football this week. So you're going to start him for that game. And people have to remember, this is one of the best rush defenses in the NFL. It's not like he did it against a bad rush defense. That play where he broke through the hole at the start of the second half, that was the one play that was well blocked from the Patriots basically all season. He took it to the house. That's not going to happen all the time. But when you see the second touchdown, that's where you could say, look, it's not a perfect performance from the offensive line, but Henderson is able to do things that other running backs on this team simply cannot do. And that's the takeaway here. It's what we've finally seen from him that we expected from the start of the season. Now we're going to see what happens when Ramondre comes back. I'm sure Terrell Jennings, unless he has a season-ending injury, will be back as well. He's probably not going to get goal line work, but hopefully this can at least create a stable floor where Henderson is getting 15 opportunities a week and can deliver for fantasy purposes.
Matt. The people want you to double that. The people want you to feel excited. You're very measured right now. I need the people want to know, is he locked and loaded? Ramondre Stevenson be damned. Is he locked and loaded, Jay Rich? You got the jersey on today.
I'm not going to say Ramondre be damned, but let me tell you the schedule, Ray. The Jets, the Bengals, the Giants, the Bills, who just let Devon Achane go all over them, the Baltimore Ravens, the Jets again, and then the Dolphins in Week 18. They don't play a tough game the rest of the season. The only tough game is at Baltimore,
Lord have mercy,
which
I'm
probably
about to
will
bust.
be tough. But am I going to say he's going to be a top running back rest of the season? Yeah, I'll do it. He can do it. The thing is, it's going to come down to the offense, right? Against the Jets, no problem. Against the Giants, no problem. Cincinnati, he should go crazy. But Ramondre is going to come back. And it's going to come down to how many touchdowns can he score? How many opportunities will he have? But I think he's still going to be a very dynamic player for this offense and can be a top 12 running back for the rest of the season. I won't say it's going to be higher than that, but I think he could be top 12 for sure.
Emeka Puka and Tez Johnson, Jay Rich. Emeka Puka and Tez Johnson had big games. And you saw this stat right here. It was the first time Patriots-Bucs Week 10 matchup is the only game in the Super Bowl era featuring 6+ offensive touchdowns scored by rookies. Wow. Tez and Egbuka each scored 2. Henderson scored 2. Kyle Williams had 1.
Very cool.
The last game featuring 6 offensive touchdowns by rookies was Week 13, 1965. Jay Rich, that was... Gale Sayers was there, 64, 65. Very, very, very critical time in American history around those days, Jay Rich. It's been a long time since that happened. What was that, 65, 75, 85, 95, 05, 15, 60 years.
Yeah,
Jay
60
Rich.
years.
60 damn years. Talk about, Egbuka was good. Christian Gonzalez talked about him, their matchup, and said how good he was, how much of a challenge that was to defend him. Baker Mayfield, we'll get to Drake May in a minute. Baker Mayfield, 273 yards. You had Egbuka scoring a touchdown. Tez Johnson getting 2 in on that one. What do you think about Tez rest away, man? What do you think about Tez rest away?
I mean, Tez will be fine. It's hard to say he was great because that last touchdown was very garbagey.
It was garbagey. It was garbagey.
Football.
It was garbagey.
Right? That's fantasy football. It was garbagey, and that's just the way it goes sometimes, right? And thankfully, if you have Tez, it kind of worked in your favor. But yeah, I mean, the biggest takeaway for me is Cade Otton got 12 targets in this game. Like, that's not, if you're going to get that type of production from Cade Otton, he's must start every week. He probably could even be a top 5 tight end almost every single week, depending on touchdowns. But Tez is still a complementary piece that can perform well. The big thing is that for whatever reason, he has been scoring touchdowns.
He has.
And maybe it'll continue.
He
right?
has.
We're not going to expect 2 every week, but the fact that he had 5 targets and scored 2 touchdowns is, again, that's a very high touchdown rate. But if he's able to at least score every week, then he's probably going to be fine and startable. It's just, is that volume going to be enough if he doesn't score? That's the
Sean
biggest
Tucker
problem.
looked awesome. Sean Tucker
He's
finally,
the first running back to run for 50 yards against the Patriots.
First running back to go for 50. He's just got way more juice than Rachaad White, honestly. I don't know what is going on with Bucky Irving. No clue. No clue what's up with Bucky.
Think he's supposed to come back this week. We'll see.
We'll see if Joe's in the chat. I saw Joe there. Joe's boy, Sean Tucker. See if he can get a little more run. You want to see him get used a little bit more. He's got some explosiveness. He's got some juice. And then, Kyle Williams on that damn touchdown run. I thought it was in fast forward. I was like, hey, man, I know D-Bro didn't speed this one up, man. You better not have. Not this one. Not this one, D-Bro. You know I love you, baby. But he was moving. He was moving, good. Jay Rich. We'll see if it translates to
this week. So we'll see.
We'll see if it translates to more opportunity. That felt like one of them schemed up touches, but he really wasn't a part of the offense. He was not a big part of this offense. Diggs got in the end zone. Pop Douglas came back to earth. And like you said, Jennings got hurt. Ernest Johnson didn't factor in. Drake May was not his best game. It was not his best game in this one. But you know what? On the road, tough team against Tampa Bay. They went in there and they got it done. He got the win, and the Patriots are now 8-2. So we're not knocking him. It just wasn't his best day. Wasn't his best day. He's had better performances so far this season, but they got the dub, and New England moves on. And 8-2 New England Patriots, and at 8-2, they're still technically the number 3 seed right now. That just shows you how tough. Yeah, right. I mean, that's what NFL Pro says.
Because Denver's 8-2 as well. Because their strength of schedule. Their strength of schedule is god awful.
Yeah. Well, I'm just letting you know the news and what's going on, Jay Rich. Let's talk about another player, because we spent a lot of time talking about Jonathan Taylor and his MVP can't. Real quick, I forgot to show this, and I just got it. This was prior to the game, Jay Rich. So I highly doubt it has moved up. But let's just look at how bad Trevor Lawrence is. He is back there going into the week. This is quarterback efficiency. He's at the back of the bus with Cam Ward and Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, I mean, that's how bad he's been, though. And it's not like this is something that, it's only been a couple weeks or it's small. Like, it's been that for the entire season. And they've won in spite of his poor play. And he's had a couple big performances for them, but it has not been throwing the football. He's been a god awful when it comes to throwing the football. Like, just terrible.
Just wanted to show that a little bit, Jay Rich, who has not been terrible. And listen, man. Listen, I know he got concussed, and we can talk about should he be running, should he be doing all of that, but he's a goddamn tank, Jay Rich. And I've continued to say it. I've been, I can't continue, not sustainable. People tell me. Jaxson Dart, first rookie quarterback in NFL history with 1,400-plus passing yards, 300-plus rushing yards, and 15-plus total touchdowns through the first 7 career starts. Another monstrous fantasy performance day. Now, C.J. Gardner-Johnson did get him. You want to keep running. We talked about this, right? Didn't we talk about it last week? If you run around, you're going to get injured.
You're gonna find out.
At some point, a hit will find you if you go searching for it. A lot of people calling for Dayball's job, right? The Giants lost this game.
Loss.
It was not a good loss. Is that really what you want to do with this young? It is. Do you think, and I'm just conspiracy theory here with me for a minute, Jay Rich.
Okay.
Do you think that Brian Daboll is intentionally sort of mismanaging Jaxson Dart to save his own ass? Does he know good and well, I probably shouldn't be design running him this much right now, but damn it, my job is on the line and he's good at it. So we just got to ride, baby, ride. Do you think that's happening, or is it just the regular flow of the game and this is what happens with the dual threat quarterback? Like, Daboll made the switch early. A lot of people didn't want to see Dart play at all this year. Let Russ play the whole season. Hell, if Russ can't do it, put Jameis in. Don't subject Dart to this grueling schedule. He's not going to be able to do anything, and he's balled out. I told weeks ago, I've said the schedule that we thought it was going to be coming into the season, it is not the same type of schedule, right? So play Dart, and he's looked phenomenal with no running game. And he's got Darius Slayton and them out there looking like stars.
Hey, Darius Slayton made a nice catch for him.
It was a great catch. What do you think about this situation? First of all, talk about Jaxson Dart, who once again, top 5, top quarterback on the week, once again.
Yes, Jaxson Dart, once again, a top 5 quarterback. But Ray, let me ask you, he started 7 games. How many concussions does he have?
1. Well, I don't know how many does he have.
This is his 4th concussion in 7 starts.
Whose 4th concussion?
Dart's.
His 4th concussion?
Yeah. It's his 4th concussion in 7 starts.
He hasn't had 4 concussions this year. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he did. He had a concussion the other week when he went back in the game, and they got fined for it. He's had multiple concussions this season, whether they're reported or not.
Where's this? Okay. All right. See, now, okay, continue. Just go ahead. I don't know about 4 damn concussions. This is news to me.
Yes, he's had 4 concussion protocols. My bad.
Okay,
right?
Thank you.
My bad.
I told you 30 minutes ago to watch how you say things. I told you this 50 minutes ago.
My apologies. He's only been in the blue medical tent 4 times for concussions. My apologies. But this is the problem with Dart, right? You asked, is he playing well? Of course he's playing very well, right? Especially given the circumstances, the offensive line, and all these other things. But the fact that he had to be removed by the coaching staff during the game is a problem. Doctors have already talked about this. He's probably going to miss this week. For anyone who's planning on starting him, he's probably going to miss the week because of this concussion. And they need to be careful with him. Is Daboll coaching for his job? Of course he is, right? We know how bad this Giants team is. When they've been up 10 points or more in a game this season, they're 0-4. How is that even possible, right? A team that goes up 10-plus points should win games, maybe not all the time, but definitely should be winning at least half of those games depending on who you're playing. And so now you have a situation where your star quarterback has only started 7 games and he's injured again. He's been banged up. He's been taking a ton of hits. He's been in the tent multiple times. But if you're the Giants, what are you supposed to do? If you're Daboll, what are you supposed to do? because it gives him the best chance to win. Whether that is him actually being hit and running him, like, you're not going to win games if you don't run him, because it's one of their best ways to gain yards and get first downs. The problem is, for me with Dart, is that he still puts himself in harm's way too much. But how do you take that out of his game if you're Daboll? But I think at the same time, he needs to do it himself as well. Like, he needs to, because clearly it's already impacting him and he hasn't even played for half a season.
Hey, man, you are right. Well, evaluated 4 times, which means, hey, you look a little woozy. We need to check you out. I don't think you're going to take that out of Dart. He was a dual threat quarterback in college. He ran at Ole Miss. He ran at USC. Ran in college. In high school. Like, that's who he is. So I don't know how you take that out of him. And quite frankly, I don't know if you want to. I think you just build around it. Like, this is going to happen. How many concussions has Tua had? I know that it's probably not what you want to hear. It's probably not what
3 or 4. Yeah.
I'm not. He's got 1 confirmed concussion, so it happens. Players get hurt, high ankle sprain. I'd rather the concussion than a knee injury or an ankle sprain.
Depends, right? Like, yeah, depending on the knee injury, but concussions are bad, especially if you're constantly being evaluated for them, right?
He's very good. Jaxson Dart is very good. He's clear.
He's very good.
He's clear. There's no long term.
Would you sell high on Jaxson Dart though?
What's sell high? What's sell high?
Sell him as a top 7 quarterback in the offseason.
Could I move him for an injured Burrow? Would you do that? Would you do that?
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Let me give you a couple other names. Would you trade Jaxson Dart? And I'm just giving you the quarterback name. We're not worried about the package right now. I'm not going to be like, would you trade him for a second? Would you move him for Jordan Love? I don't think I would do that. I
wouldn't want to, no.
Let me give you a couple of other quarterbacks. Would you trade him would you trade him and whatever you need to package up for Caleb Williams? Because I'm pretty sure Dart is valued higher than Caleb.
I think that's an interesting swap. I do. People don't like Caleb. He hasn't played overly well, but if you told me I'm getting a quarterback that's going to play every game, right? Like, I do feel pretty good about that. I just have worries about Dart, right? Like, and I think you have to at this point. Like, you really do. It's just, he's going to be very good when he's on the field, but he definitely needs to play a little bit safer in the general sense.
All right, people saying Love, absolutely not. We got one I'm moving for Caleb for a good plus. Let me give you a couple of more names, okay? Let me just give you a couple of additional names. Would you move him for Herbert? I don't even know who really is valued higher today. Would you move him for Herbert?
I would think about it, yeah. I think you should think about it. Depending on what that looks like, I think you should think about it for sure. Because if you're banking on Dart as a QB1 and your QB2 isn't very good, I just think that's a very risky way to play right now. Because there's one thing to bank on Jaden Daniels, to bank on even Lamar. Lamar's probably the perfect example, right? Because Lamar will get injured and we've seen him get banged up at times. But when he's on the field, he's like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL and he has got such a high ceiling. But he also doesn't miss too many games most of the time, right? And I think you're going to take that with Lamar.
Would you move him for an injured Jaden Daniels? If you got this panic and this concern, would you move him for Jaden Daniels?
I think I'd consider it, yeah. I think I'd consider it. I'd say they have a similar
I would not
ceiling.
Consider it.
Really? So you don't think that Daniels is going to play a little bit safer come next season with all the injuries he's dealt with this year?
No.
Okay.
Daniels has played this way his entire career. He's not going to change the way he plays football. I don't believe so. I just don't. I don't. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay? Maybe I'm totally wrong on this one. But I feel like in other sports, Jay Rich, you watch a lot of baseball. I think there are times where you've got, is it true that you get sometimes starting pitchers that move to their relief pitchers? They can go to close. They can do different things as their career ages on. You've got infielders that maybe move to first base or outfield. You park them in right field. You can, as they get older and decline. You see in the NBA, right, where once the explosiveness starts to leave, they develop a game with the back to the basket. They do some different things. They're not slashing as much. They distribute the ball. I don't know how you... There have been a few quarterbacks that I've seen change the way they play. Right? Michael Vick definitely did it later in his career. And there probably is some other examples of of players really change. I don't think you could, at this age, at 22, at 23, 24 years old, I don't think you're fundamentally changing the way they play ball. I just don't think that when you can have a plan, and then when shit starts getting chaotic around you and you've got 300-pounders flying at you, you're gonna resort to the things that you've always done to get you out of those situations, which is run. I don't think you take it out of them. I don't think you can.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, but it's one thing to change the way you play and just to play smarter. That's just maturity, right?
Yeah,
and I think Josh Allen is a perfect example of that. Like early in his career, it was he would throw the ball over the place because he thought he was the best quarterback in the NFL, and he was very reckless, and he'd always roll to the right and throw it down the sideline consistently. Like he grew and he matured and became a better quarterback because of it. I do think there can be a maturity process for a Jaden Daniels, for a Jaxson Dart. And I'm not trying to say that I think that Jaxson Dart can't be better than Jaden Daniels or Jaden Daniels is better than Jaxson Dart. It's just when you look to the two players, right? Last season, Jaden Daniels was Jaxson Dart, right? Like that's who he was. He was Jaxson Dart. He was the next great fantasy quarterback who could run, who could pass, who had a phenomenal season, and he won football games. Dart isn't winning football games, but he's been playing great for fantasy, and don't be shocked if he's QB5 in the offseason. Like, don't be shocked if that happens. He may get steamed up that high. And at that point, I think you should consider maybe just like pivoting to a safer option depending on how the rest of the season goes. Because if he continues to get banged up, continues to deal with some of these ailments, like you said, that's probably not going to stop. But I think in Jaden's case, he does it a bit more with his arm than Dart does at times. And I think because of all the injuries this season, he may actually play a little bit smarter next season.
Inside that same game, Jay Rich, we saw Odunze get back on track, and he should have had probably at least 2 touchdown day, maybe 3 touchdown day. Caleb Williams sailed 2 of them right outside the reach of Odunze. All right?
Yeah.
Last week, Rome went 0 catches, 0 yards, 0 touchdowns. This week, 686-1. You know who had the this week?
Well, it was DJ Moore, but he got hurt too.
DJ Moore got banged up, but he went over. There's one of them right there. I mean, he's wide open, and Caleb Williams sailed it on him.
Yeah.
I think this offense is just going to be a little up and down, right? It's going to be a little up and down. It's going to be a little volatile. I think what we saw was those 2 rookies. Both of them had 50-plus yards, Colston Loveland and Luther Burden. It's time let's get Olamide Zaccheaus off the field. Let's stop that. Let's stop with Olamide Zaccheaus. Let's stop effing around with Cole Kmet. It's Odunze as the one. Prioritize Colston Loveland. Let's get Luther Burden some more touches as well. I like the young components of this offense. It's probably going to take another full offseason for it to all gel under Ben Johnson, but I do think Caleb is a sneak. That throw where he was rolling out right and fired an absolute piss missile to DJ Moore in the end zone. My God, Jay Rich.
He did the same thing with Burden.
Holy shit.
The problem with Caleb Williams is not the talent. It's that he can't just bro, chill.
Yeah, he's going 100 miles an hour every play.
You don't need to roll right on a full sprint and just throw it as hard as you can to the back corner in the end zone when the dude is wide open.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, there was probably at least, I think in the first 2, I think it was even the first series, it may have been the first and second series combined, Caleb had multiple touchdowns that were sort of dropped, sort of misplaced, and he threw it way too hard. And it's like, well, the receiver probably could have caught it, but he also threw it 100 miles an hour. Yeah,
reel it in, dude.
Amped up.
He's good though.
He needs to get some touch.
And they need to run him more. I know we just talked about Jaxson Dart, but Caleb don't get hit. He'll get down.
63 yards.
He's very.
He will get down. Right?
Jay,
he's smart.
If he can just get it together, the talent is immense.
It's undeniable. And he took 0 sacks in the game. Right? No turnovers, I believe, right?
Mononga scored.
So how do you feel about the split now? Last week you said not concerned.
I mean, it's Swift. Swift is the lead back. Mononga had 7 attempts in the game. He scored a touchdown. And Swift was the guy. The running game really didn't do anything, though, versus the Giants.
Nothing. It
was weird. They didn't do a lot versus the Giants, you know?
No, they struggled a lot.
But Swift was back. Swift is veteran. Swift's going to be the guy. But I like Mononga. He looks good. I would want him. He's going to be a part of this team. this year and moving forward. He's going to factor into this offense moving forward now and later, Jay Rich. I had a couple of more areas that I wanted to go, and we're going to go back to this MVP conversation, and it's going to lead us to a couple of different things, because how is Matthew Stafford not there? And I know we talked about him in the offseason, and I remember you saying, like, we're looking at his stats, like he just hadn't been good for fantasy. He had all these yards, and he's great for fantasy right now. Yeah. He is out of this world. 70% completion percentage, damn near 2,500 passing yards, 25 touchdowns to 2 picks. They're 7-2, 117.5 passer rating. Matthew Stafford and what he's doing for this Rams team in this offense with Tay Adams, with Puka, with the rushing attack. Defensively, they're playing better. I mean, San Francisco did as much as they could. With a limited defense, they hung in there and they tried to go blow for blow. This was not on Mac Jones. This was not on Mac Jones. I mean, I've got clips on here. It feels very Jay Rich. It feels very much like when all of them were pumping up Brock Purdy in the past.
Oh,
Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, Kyle Shanahan praising Mac Jones, Jay Rich. Praising Mac Jones. We'll get to Mac in a minute. Talk about Stafford, though.
Yeah, Stafford is playing, phenomenal, of course. His third straight game with 4+ touchdowns. Highest TD rate of his entire career. 8.1%. Arguably the best he's ever played. And Ray, it is, of course, because they got Davante Adams. And we said it all off season. We said Puka Nacua, Davante Adams could be the best version of this Rams offense with Kyron Williams running the football. And he's playing like it, finally. This is the Stafford that we all know is in there, the Stafford that I incessantly praise, the Stafford that I love to watch, the Stafford that you always talk about as one of the best quarterbacks in football when he's on his game, when the offensive line is playing well. This Rams team is a problem. And I'm so happy that all offseason we said, man, this Rams defense is going to be really good this year. And the offense, because they added pieces and got better, and Stafford hopefully healthy, which we were a little bit
that back was an issue all summer. That back is just fine, Jay Rich.
That back is looking good right now. But yeah, the Rams are a problem. I'm not going to quite say they're NFC front runners because the Eagles are still very good, but they do look like the best team in the NFC when they're on their game. They did get a big win over the 49ers, but Stafford is definitely MVP worthy and probably will get a lot of votes this season with how well he's playing.
Well, talk about Mac real quick, because it wasn't, and people will look at the stat line, the last interception from Mac Jones was literally on 4th down. Last play of the game for them. It wasn't Mac's fault, Jay. It was not Mac Jones' reason why they lost. And I'm telling you, Christian McCaffrey, proving it day in and day out. George Kittle, they asked him, hey, did y'all think Mac Jones was going to be that good? Nope, I did not. I did not think he was going to be as good as he was, but he's a hell of a football player. Just Tom Brady, Jay Rich. 49ers should stay with Mac Jones even when Brock Purdy gets back. You got to ride the hot hand. That's what Tom Brady said.
It's a discussion.
Is there? I don't think you can. And I think Marcus Mosher, I saw a tweet from Marcus Mosher, shout out to him. He surmised it very well. He said, Brock Purdy is probably better than Mac Jones, but is he $50 million more better than Mac Jones? And the answer is probably no.
Probably not.
The answer is probably
the case
not.
A lot of times, right?
Brock Purdy's going to start when he comes back, right? They haven't locked up they haven't locked anything up. No. You got to. He's starting when he's back, right?
Yeah. I think so. The interesting thing about this, right, and Mac Jones did play pretty well in this game. It's just the defense really couldn't stop the Rams at all. So they have to go to Arizona next week, right? We'll see how that goes for them. It's not going to be easy, but it shouldn't be too difficult for this 49ers team. We'll see if Mac does start again, but it seems like they're just taking their time with Purdy, right? Yeah. Purdy, apparently, according to Shanahan, could have started this game if they needed him to, but with Mac playing as well as he has been, they're just holding Purdy out, letting him get healthier, don't want another setback. Once Purdy ultimately comes into the game and starts, they're not going to want to take him out of the game once again, because if he does get hurt again, that really could be potentially his season if the turf toe gives him more issues. But credit to Mac. Like, if you told me Mac was going to start at Arizona versus Carolina, at Cleveland versus Tennessee, and then you didn't play Brock Purdy until at Indy, I'm fine with that. They should win every one of those games. They're going to be favored in every single one of those games. And Mac should be able to beat all of those teams. And he's played well enough to the point where you could say, like, yeah, you can give him that opportunity to continue going forward. But the issue for me that is going to be interesting is if they do turn to Brock Purdy next week at Arizona, what if they struggle offensively again? And what if Brock Purdy isn't playing well? Because you go back to when they played the first time around, it was Mac Jones who barely beat the Arizona Cardinals at home, right? I believe that was his first start in week 3. And Kyler Murray obviously played in that game as well. So it's like, if you do bring Purdy in and he doesn't play well, do you turn to Mac Jones if it's bad enough? Or do you just have to ride Brock Purdy out?
I don't think you can. You're talking, I don't think you can. I think you can make a lot of good cases as to why on the field Mac Jones should maybe stay on the field and play until he falters. But I can give you damn near 300 million reasons why he won't. You just can't do that. You can't. Doesn't it feel like the Niners keep making these boneheaded contract decisions? It feels like they keep getting forced to pay players, and then the player that backs up the player that they paid, because the player that they paid gets injured, looks like he's playing better than the player that they played. Hey, this keeps happening with the Niners. You trade all them damn first-round picks for Trey Lance. Who's better, Brock Purdy? You paid Brandon Ayuk all this money. He gets hurt. The other guys look just as good as him. Now you paid Brock Purdy. You put in Mac Jones. He looks better than Brock Purdy. But don't you think this team also has shown that they're going to play the players that give them the best chance to win a little bit? I don't know, dude. That's what I'm asking you. I don't know.
I don't think they're going to bench Brock Purdy for Mac if he's actually healthy.
They're not.
But they're definitely taking their time to get Purdy back as the starter. I think they're waiting for Mac to really have a bad game. So it's like, okay, Mac had his moment, but it's time to give the keys back to Purdy, right? But even off this performance, you can't really say Mac had a bad game. He did have some bad moments, but he had a good enough game that they could have won if they played better defense.
They all said it. The defense needed to do their job. He was 33 for 39, 85% completion percentage, 319, 3 touchdowns in the last pick on that 4th down throw to Christian McCaffrey. Second highest success rate in the game of his career. Under center, he was a perfect 10 for 10 for 93 yards and a touchdown. He's a good... Jay Rich, I'm not trying to turn this into the I Told You show. What did I say back in 2021, Jay Rich?
You did say it.
What did I say from the... Jay Rich, give me my... What did I say from the beginning?
You did say that trade all the way up to number 3 was for Mac Jones because he's the perfect fit for the Shanahan
for Kyle
offense.
Shanahan.
Yeah,
I said he was a perfect fit,
and that's been that's been backed up with further reports. I think even as early
I
as
said
season.
The whole time he wanted Mac. He did not want Trey Lance.
Lynch wanted Lance.
Lynch and Eric Crocker wanted Trey Lance. Shout out to my dog Croc. And now he's on the Mac Jones train. What happens? What, Jay? Right now, Jay Rich, Fernando Mendoza is probably going to be the number one, the top quarterback off the board. Had a signature moment. He was kind of shit in that game, but that last drive he went 87.
That last throw, though,
he got two back-to-back nasty throws, 3 of them on that drive. Probably going to be the number one quarterback off the board. And honestly, I do think I'll save this for the mini pod. Do you think there are some teams that are going to trade for Mac, or San Francisco going to be like, we're not moving him because they got him under contract?
I do think that Mac will probably get moved. With the way things shake out for the quarterbacks, like, one, I don't expect anyone to trade up for a quarterback this year. Like, that's not happening. So no one's getting the Titans aren't getting a king's ransom. If they have the number 1 overall pick, they'll just have to draft their favorite edge rusher. Yep. Probably not Caleb Downs. Maybe Caleb Downs. We'll see. But
they're absolutely not taking a safety at 1.
They're probably not, but the Titans do some stupid shit, so you never know. But now when you talk about Mac Jones, the question isn't should he be moved or will he be moved? It's what's the price? Because the price for me, honestly, it's a first rounder.
No.
If I'm the Niners, it's a first round pick.
Then you're not trying to move him. Then you're not really trying to move him.
But are you trying to move him?
I don't know. I'm asking.
Because he's been so good that, look, Brock Purdy has been banged up at times. He missed basically the entire season. He's going to miss more than half the season. Like, they needed Mac Jones, and you can't just go find another Mac Jones. Maybe the Niners think they can. Maybe they can. We wouldn't have said this about Mac Jones, but at least we saw him play well in Jacksonville to say, well, maybe there's potential there to at least be competent and play well in games. But, like, if it is a second-round pick, should not half the NFL be calling?
I would think so.
Right?
I would think. I'm not paying it first. I don't think I'm paying it first.
Like, the Falcons ain't calling. Probably should, though. The Jaguars ain't calling. Probably should, though.
All right, Jay.
Tennessee Titans ain't calling either. Probably should, though.
All right, last topic before we get out of here, and we're going to save some of this for Wednesday, but you better believe we ain't leaving this show without talking about 9. Jay Rich, 9.
Oh, God.
We got to talk 9. Anytime he plays, JJ McCarthy. Jay Rich, he had another start. What are your thoughts here? What are your thoughts here? Because he was not very good. He was not very good in this game.
Not very good.
Justin Jefferson also ain't good either. With JJ McCarthy.
Was bad.
12.7 points per game. He's getting all the targets. Doesn't matter.
Falling 50% all over the place.
What? Where are you at? Another week. Grade McCarthy's performance in week 10.
Fantasy or NFL?
NFL.
D+. On script, he was great. Off script, he was dreadful. He looked, you know what? And I said it in our group text. He looked very Bo Nix in this start, right? Because he was running around back there. He's missing players who are open, and then he's launching it down the field for picks, right? Like, this is what a young quarterback does. He thinks he can throw it over Malachi Starks, and Malachi Starks says, you know what, kid? This ain't the Big Ten. This is the NFL, and I'm one of the best young safeties in the league, and I'm going to pick you off no problem. And then the Marlon Humphrey pick, JJ fell. It is what it is, but it's just like, this is a young quarterback, man. This is just what it is. And people are going to say he sucked, and I didn't think he played very well. I do want to give credit to the Baltimore defense. I said I wasn't so sure about them, and I thought they played very well against this offense. They did allow some big plays, but for the most part, they kept everything under wraps. They held the running game down, and they couldn't really get anything through the air. When you force JJ to throw, it makes things much more difficult for him. But we'll see, right? It's his 4th start, but he hasn't looked good. And it's no different than when Michael Penix doesn't look good. It's no different than when Bo Nix doesn't look good. It's no different than when Caleb Williams doesn't look good. But he is the least experienced of all these quarterbacks. He
is. I just think that what's going to end up happening with this situation is he's going to get another mulligan for this year. Okay? People are going to be like, he only got to play half the year. He didn't even play the full season. So now you're going to be going into year 3 of JJ McCarthy wondering, is he the guy? I'm telling you, the narrative writes itself. It's already written itself. People will excuse this season away. It's his first time start, and I'm not saying it's like wrongfully so, right? He will not have played a full season. It will be his 3rd year, but how much are you going to wait? And then are you going to give him all of next year? Oh, it's his first full season starting, so now we got to wait until year 4.
Well, you also have to decide on his 5th year option.
And in this comment right here, I don't disagree, Matt. He said Mac is a product of environment and system. He'd be absolutely trash anywhere like he was before San Francisco. But you could say that about a bunch of different professions and a bunch of different teams and a bunch of different players. System environment absolutely influenced the outcome and the product that gets placed on the field, right? It's no different. You can be the best, whatever it is you do, coder, cook. If you're working for a dog shit company that has no game plan, that doesn't recognize your strengths and skill sets, you could be the best at what you do. But if your environment and your company and your situation aren't conducive for you to thrive, put you in position to be successful, you too will probably not perform as well on your day-to-day. There's no different. Yes, there are some systems and environments that just don't work. And when you look at what Bill Belichick has done since Mac Jones, what the hell has he done? Nothing. He's out there. He's stealing money from the state of North Carolina. Is North Carolina public school or private school? I think they're private.
Probably.
Stealing them folks' money. He he might as well walk in the bank, no ski mask on, and say, give it to me. That's the type of theft he's committing right now. So I just don't know how much Belichick was actually helping. Oh, yeah, maybe it was the goddamn defensive coordinator that they hired to call plays in New England. Maybe Matt Patricia shouldn't be calling offensive plays, Jay Rich. Maybe that shouldn't happen, right? Yeah, the environment and the product was ass in New England post-Tom Brady era. So, like, yeah.
But I do think that people need to remember, right? So Darnold goes to San Francisco, plays in the Shanahan-style system. Then he goes and plays for the Minnesota Vikings and Kevin O'Connell. Again, another Mike Shanahan-style system. Obviously came from McVay, but similar style system. The X factor here, Ray, is there is a OC right now who should be number one on those coaching boards. And who is it, do you think, with arguably the best offense in the NFL right now?
Who is it? Is he under the McVay tree?
He's technically not the McVay tree. He's the Shanahan tree.
Shanahan.
And it is
Who
Clint Kubiak, the
Clint?
OC out in Seattle. He should be the number one head coaching candidate going into next season. So if you're Clint Kubiak, you can't trade for Sam Darnold, right? But maybe, just maybe, depending on where you go, you could trade for Mac Jones, right? If for some reason the Jets fire Aaron Glenn, they hire Clint Kubiak.
They're not firing Aaron Glenn. They're not firing Aaron Glenn.
They're probably not. But Clint Kubiak will have an opportunity to get a job. And if he wants, and if the franchise is willing, going and trading for Mac Jones is a realistic outcome. And he could actually be the starting quarterback for Clint Kubiak. And again, Clint Kubiak wasn't on staff with Mac Jones, but he was literally on staff with the 49ers 2 years ago when Sam Darnold was the backup quarterback. That's why that connection has worked even better than people expected. It wasn't necessarily because of O'Connell, it was because they were together on the same staff in San Francisco. So they got very familiar in that sense. But Mac Jones could be the next guy running the same system that also performs very well. And with how much people like McVay, people like Shanahan, people like O'Connell, and their systems, there is like multiple teams in the NFL where that opportunity exists.
We'll talk more about old JJ McCarthy 9 on Wednesday. Jay Rich, hit the music. Hit the music. We got to roll. Jay, we did get a super chat. And it's my type of super chat. We got some pettiness going on. Some pettiness right here. I'm up 0.02 points and I have Packers defense. He has nobody. He benched his defense. He says, shit, I'm winning. I'm benching the defense. My opponent is pleading that this isn't legal. Tell him he's being a sore loser for me. Jay Rich, what are your thoughts here? Are you in favor of the pettiness or should he have to play a defense? Now, stat corrections could change on Tuesday and you lose by 0.05. So what are your thoughts here, Jay?
I appreciate the pettiness.
I do too.
But I also think it's a real power move to start that defense and still win. You could bench the defense and win, but you could also throw it in his face if the Packers come out and they put up 5 points and it's no big deal. But I am kind of in agreement here. Benching the defense, probably a good idea. Because Eagles out of a bye have never lost, and don't be surprised if they have a big game against Green Bay. They could.
I kind of like it. I'm all for pettiness.
It's petty, but
I
wouldn't be bitching about it if I was the other guy.
Don't hate the player, hate the game,
lame.
man.
Yeah,
Don't hate the player, hate the game. And actually, Jay, our Wednesday show will be a little shorter because we do have the midseason mayhem on Wednesday night. We appreciate everybody being in the building. Make sure you trust the Trinity with Scott Connor and I got a mini pod talking all things college football, NFL draft, fantasy football that will drop tomorrow. We appreciate y'all being in the building. Hit the thumbs up button on your way out. Like the stream, subscribe to the channel, comment to the good people with the good people below, and make sure you pull up with us on Wednesday. Y'all have a beautiful day. Enjoy this Monday. We are out. Peace.
Peace.